Hey family, welcome back to the channel. So I had come across a very interesting clip which led me to this video right here. It's this Disney star that goes by the name of Joshua Bassett, and he basically explains his experience with encountering the spiritual realm for one of the first times ever and how it led him to his specific beliefs that he has right now. So let's give this video right here a look. He's being very vulnerable, and whenever someone's being vulnerable, you don't want to just look at that person and be like, oh, it's fake, oh, it's not real, you were just boom, boom, boom. You actually want to hear him out. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. I hope everyone has a snack. Hope everyone's having a good day, because I'm most definitely, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I got some rice and chicken, so I'm going to be snacking it up a little bit. Let's get straight into this. Smash the like button.
Out and talking for, I mean, dude, we would hang out all the time. Religion never came up.
Yeah,
When and how, because religion was in your life
sure.
right before.
Yeah, I was very anti-Christianity. Yeah.
But you were Christian before you were anti-Christian, no?
No, I never actually identified with it. I think my family was.
Okay, got
but
it.
I never really, I kind of was forced to go to church. My mom had to drag me. I didn't want anything to do with it. So I don't know that I ever would say that I believe that for myself. It was more like my family did it, and I just didn't really want to hear it. So yeah, I think I know where you're going, but go ahead.
Understood, but when does it come back?
Yes. So how much time do you have? Because it's pretty nuts, to be honest.
Because I feel like it was a slow lead up. Like, it wasn't instant.
Well, yeah, it's been a journey. So I'm just gonna speak completely transparently, and then we can figure out what is kept in. But
Of course.
it's a long story, so buckle up. But basically, yeah, everyone locked in.
Your arms and hands and legs in the vehicle at all times.
But that's what. But yeah, I mean, look, the first thing I'll say about it is the very fact that I am here before you, talking about Jesus and believe in Jesus, is a testament to the fact that there might be something there, because I was so vehemently opposed.
Yeah,
dude, I know.
Bro, you were on this couch.
I mocked God on this couch, bro.
Literally in the exact same
That's what I'm
seat.
saying. For me to be the person here talking about Jesus, I was I'm the last person I would expect. So that's already just insane.
That's
and a lot of
crazy.
people think that I was brainwashed. They think that I went to some service and I was convinced, and that I've lost my mind. And it doesn't help that I've kind of gone off grid for a little bit and kind of been in the dark, just healing and going through a lot of different stuff, because people will kind of fill in the gaps and they think, oh, they must have converted him, or they must have brainwashed him.
No,
They must have.
I gotta say also, you were on a healing journey even when we met.
Yes.
Right? You were seeking healing,
100%.
Treatments in a bunch of different ways.
Yes.
I mean, dude, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so this is the other thing that's crazy, and then I'll get into the story of how I got here. But I spent my entire life seeking truth, trying to find peace, knowing that peace is out there, but not feeling it inside of myself, wanting to find love, trying to understand the mysteries of the universe, right? Very spiritual, always seeking, always reading. And most of the people in my life were pretty supportive of that path, until I actually found the peace I was looking for in Jesus. Then I was crazy. And then it was oh, okay, no, he's lost his mind. And it's ironic, because I'm I get it. Because if you were to come to me 2 years ago and say, hey man, that peace you're looking for is actually found in Jesus, I'd be like, you're insane, you're wrong, get out of here. My dad would always try
That's crazy. That's really so true. Everyone at the end of the day is searching for that level of peace through different things. But when you have someone on the street saying you find peace and love through Jesus Christ, they're a Jesus freak all of a sudden.
call me and try to tell me, and I'd be like, I don't want to hear it, Dad. I just didn't want to hear it. And now I'm I'm so thankful. So anyways, all that to be said, yes, I've been on a spiritual journey. Basically, I don't know what I can say, but I think I'm just going to do it, because why not? Why am I here if we're not going to be vulnerable and honest? So
Thank you.
I struggled a lot with addiction, and there were a lot of different paths that I took. I would do, again, I'm just gonna say it, but I would do magic mushrooms. I would frequently go to the beach and try to have these experiences and try to understand the truths of the world. I started doing some deeper plant medicines, one of them being ayahuasca.
Yeah, dude.
As you might be familiar with.
Dude, I remember you wanted me to go with you.
I know, and I'm so glad you didn't, and I'll explain why. So I never told you about this. I don't think so. Bro, I'm so glad you didn't go. So I've done a few of these things at this point, probably 25. I was really on the path to learning. Not ayahuasca, but just other things.
Yeah.
So I did ayahuasca one time, and you're like asleep the whole time, right? And you're going, and I by the way, I do not endorse this at all. I am vehemently opposed to this. Please do not take this and think I should try it. I'm actually begging you, anyone listening to this, please look into it. Do not do it. And I'll explain why. So, second time I did it, normally you're asleep, but this time I woke up. This is going to get real. So, and I'm fine with being labeled as an insane person because even I was in denial of this for a while. And I've done enough of these to know I was not hallucinating. I wake up. Immediately I felt naked. And by naked, I mean spiritually naked, where there was no filter, no veil. And I realized the ugliness that is in me. And I saw it in everyone else in the room too. Like I could see right through them. And I realized that there's really no things hidden. It's hard to explain. Maybe I won't go down that path. But basically, my soul was falling to the pits of hell, a hell I did not believe in. As I hit the ground in hell, I was surrounded by hundreds of thousands of demons who were mocking me and laughing at me and torturing me. And as I thought about the abuses that I experienced when I was a kid, they laughed and they mocked harder. Now, again, you might say, Josh, you were just hallucinating. You're on a thing. I'm telling you now, as much as I know that I am here right now breathing, standing before you, Zach Sang, and Dan, and I forget your name. Carlos, sorry. As real as I know that I'm here right now, I know that this was a real experience. So, I have the thought the devil's had a hold of me my whole life, and I literally see the devil, and he's laughing at me. And I start to see all these different things in my life. And eventually, I get up, and I go to the bathroom, and I realize like how horrific what I'm experiencing is and that I need to get out of there like immediately. But I knew I couldn't leave because I was technically on this plant or whatever, and so they couldn't let me drive. But I was like, I'm just going to get out of this house and run as fast as I can. So I go out, I grab my keys, and the lady running the thing kind of goes and grabs my hand, and she goes, you know, I can't let you leave. And I literally see like this demon over her eyes, and I'm like, I see the devil in her eyes. Again, I don't care if you think I'm crazy.
I knew he was going to see it in them.
So I'm saying this to her. I'm like, I see the devil in your eyes. I lose my voice. I'm screaming. Thank God you didn't go with me on this. And eventually I go outside because she won't let me leave. So I'm going outside to kind of cool off. And I look up and I see Jesus in the sky. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, there's no way. And the first thought I had was my dad was right. And I was like, dude, what is going on right now? Like, it was the most insane experience of my life. And I was immediately filled with like a relief, but like a terror of like, there's more to the spiritual world than I'm aware. And I think for a while I was in denial that evil exists. And I was always on the path of like, it's all love, but evil is real. So that happens. Eventually I come down from all that, and I'm just like shaken to my core. The next 6 months were the worst 6 months of my entire life, where I was so confused, bro. I would try to read my Bible, and I felt like I was suffocating, and so I'd smoke weed and I'd go on a walk, and then I'd feel like I was dying, so I'd go in and I'd try to understand, and I was just so confused based on what I experienced, and I had no peace at all. After that, the addictions started getting bigger and worse, and eventually I was just like completely lost. So anyways, the drug addiction was horrific and just kept getting worse. And then one day I woke up and I sat up to meditate. And I remember having the thought, maybe this time I will experience enlightenment. And I sit up, and immediately I felt the Holy Spirit, which I'd never felt before, come upon me. And I just knew in that moment that I needed Jesus. And I can't explain it to you because it's so bizarre to explain, but just this light turned on. And I got on my knees and I called my dad and I said, can you help me accept Jesus? And he was like, what? And I was like, I know this is insane, but can you help me accept Jesus? So he praised me through a prayer of repentance. I literally cannot express to you the peace that I felt in that moment. Literally every path I was going down looking for peace, I found the moment I accepted Jesus. Despite me mocking God in interviews, despite me saying that's totally wrong, my family's crazy, I thought my family was dumb, I thought any Christian was dumb, I thought they were so wrong. And then I had an encounter with the actual living God. So that happens and I'm crying. Turns out at that exact moment, my dad was crying, praying, Jesus opened his eyes. Jesus opened his eyes. Jesus opened his eyes. And then he got a call from me saying, can you help me accept Jesus into my life? So that happens. I'm like, I feel this new lease on life. I felt more peace than I'd ever experienced in my life. I'm like literally jumping for joy like I was a child again. And some would say you're having a manic episode, but I'm telling you now, it was not a manic episode. So I experienced all this beautiful peace. And of course, with that, you like want to tell everyone, right? And so I've been trying to find this balance of like, you know, talking about it because I know people get really offended and a lot of people have been hurt by Christians, and there was a lot of just stuff around the Christian faith that makes a lot of people not want to go near it, and that totally makes sense. But yeah, there's a lot more to the journey. There was times when I was seriously doubting my faith, and I walked away entirely, and I was even worse off than before. And then I had an encounter where Jesus once came from the sky and stood over me, and he was the strongest being ever, and literally my soul like leapt out of my body, and I'm like face to face with Jesus, and then he leaves, and I go inside my house, and I'm like, okay, God, like, because I believed in God, right? I just wasn't sure about Jesus. Again, I know I'm rambling, but this is, yeah. So I'm like, God, if Jesus really is, or I said, give me a sign when I tell the truth. So I type out, Jesus is the way, and nothing happens. And then I type out, Jesus is the only way, and the light turned on in my living room. And I was like, that is insane. Like,
That's
crazy
wild.
coincidence.
That is crazy.
Again, I'm not basing my whole faith off of this, but it's just a wild thing. So then later, I'm at a church service, and I'm in the back, and I'm still not sure. Like, I'm questioning it. I knew I've had these encounters, but I was just like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't understand it. And so I go to the front for prayer. And I'm on my knees, and everyone else is busy praying for other people. And I just said, God, if Jesus really is your son, like if Jesus truly is the way, the truth, and the life, send someone to put their hand on my back, and I will proclaim it from the rooftops for the rest of my life. 5 seconds later, Rita, who I'd never met before, puts her hand on my back and says, God put it on my heart to pray for you. And she said that she specifically heard God say to put her hand on my back, which I had specifically prayed for. So now I'm sobbing. I have this crazy, beautiful encounter with the love of God. And I've been pretty outspoken about that since then. And again, like I know how crazy it sounds, and I know that I would have laughed at myself, and I would have probably unfollowed myself at the time because it's just it sounds so far-fetched and so out there. But all I can know is before I found Jesus, I was miserable, and I was also trying to tell people how to find peace and joy and love when I myself had none of those things in my life. Like, I look back at the interview from 2021, and like, sure, there's maybe a little bit of wisdom there, but like, I was hurting myself. I was so depressed, so miserable, so suicidal, so like all these horrible things. And now it's like I found this love and this peace in Jesus, and like, I just want to tell everyone that I see, but a lot of people get offended by it. And so that's where I'm trying to find the balance of like telling people in love that there is an answer to what you're looking for. And again, you can tell me I'm wrong, and you can be offended by that. And like, I understand that. I want to be respectful of other people's faiths and their walks. But all I know is I walked down every single path, and it was a dead end. The thing that I say is, again, being raised Christian, I say that I went to the ends of the earth to find the hidden treasure, and it was buried in my backyard the whole time. Like, I actually found it. So yeah,
by the way, that happens.
Yeah,
most of the time, because we seek answers in everything and anything than what like we're forced to know or
totally.
To have in our lives.
100%. So yeah, I mean, and again, there's like 1,000 more stories I can tell you of times where like I prayed that God would send me a sign of a sunflower, and then the next day I was very next to get baptized, and a little girl tugs on my shirt and says, God's showing me a sign of a dove and a sunflower. And I had prayed the night before that God would give me a confirmation of a sunflower. Just like crazy things of like prayers answered in just these beautiful ways. And yeah, so anyways, that's kind of my journey. I'm definitely leaving out bits and pieces because it's been a long time coming, but yeah.
By the way, I had no idea. I had no idea that one Sherman Oaks shaman trip that I didn't go on would lead you.
I know.
And I did, by the way, this is the first time I've heard about it.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because that's like, what are you going to tell people,
No, but I was just worried about you after that.
Yeah, as you should have been, to be honest.
I mean, dude, deeply, genuinely worried about you.
Yeah. Well, and your mom was like, don't go, right?
Yeah, my mom was like, you shouldn't
she's
go.
of faith, right? Or no?
Yes, very much of faith.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, dude, I grew up around faith.
Yeah.
I mean, can I just ask like the hard question that I think weighs on a lot of people's minds and hearts, which is, dude, Christianity in a lot of cases is synonymous with homophobia, right? And I do think that people not worry about. I mean, dude, they take into consideration when they're meeting somebody who is so vocal about their faith. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
And I think, dude,
it's heartbreaking.
It's a huge community that it deserves love, respect, and that to be unwavering.
1,000%. No, I'm very glad you brought that up because it breaks my heart to see how people think. Like, there was a certain time where people were like, I don't know if I can come to a show anymore. I don't know if I'm like welcome. And I'm like, bro, like that couldn't be further from the truth. And I understand there's like a stigma, and I know there's a lot of stuff around that topic. But what's also very true is Jesus says, they will know you are my disciples by how you love one another. Jesus commands us to love above all. And I think that people try to tell other people what to do, probably out of trying to, in their mind, to help them, but without the love, and they're not doing it in a loving way, and it leads people away. And having gone so far from the Christian faith and coming back to it, I look and I see all these things where I'm like, yo, like, no wonder I didn't want to be around Christians, because I didn't feel loved by them. And that's a shame, because you claim to know the God of love, you claim to walk in love, and yet you're withholding love from people who share a different belief than you, or who are doing a different lifestyle than maybe you're doing. And I don't know, I think it's heartbreaking, and I think it's not what Jesus wants at all. You know, that is not the way of Jesus. Jesus calls us to love each other, and to be long suffering, and be faithful to each other. And so, anyways, yeah,
it's very true. If we're made in the image of God, and this is what we believe, and God is love, our image, our representation, the way we're supposed to be walking in love, because that's what God is. And we're made in his image.
I don't know what else to say on that, but yeah, it's upsetting.
Is any of this referenced in your music?
How so?
Does religion play a part in anything that comes out in lyrics, whether it be consciously or subconsciously?
We're gonna leave that right there, man. Shout out to Joshua for getting vulnerable on the internet like that, because a lot of times whenever you share something that is not of the physical realm, you start sharing like real spiritual encounters and experiences, people tend to just be like, oh, it's just fake. And you're sharing like one of the most deepest, most transforming experiences of your life, and people just, you know, turn an ear to it because they can't possibly believe it. So shout out to him for the vulnerability and security in Jesus Christ. It's amazing all the experiences that he's had. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. You guys can also leave a link down below to any other videos that you want to watch together. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.